Hey everybody, this is episode 6 of A Discourse About Gaming, our weekly video game podcast where Josh and I discuss the video game industry, maybe review what games we've been playing. New episodes are every Friday, rain or shine, there's always going to be a new episode. This week we're doing something a little different, so what happened was we normally record Wednesday nights, but I just had tons of finals due that night, and just to ease my mind to be able to get that homework done, we put off recording that night, so we're doing it Thursday instead. So Josh is going to be on the second half of this episode. What we decided to do is have me just go over the news with you guys, get that recorded, and then later tonight, Josh and I are going to record a tag on the end of this episode where we briefly talk about what we have been playing. Obviously, anything else that Josh might want to talk about is fair game. I don't know what he's going to say. I don't know what I'm going to say. We haven't recorded it yet. But yeah, I mean, as far as that goes, the amount of prep work we do for the show, I want to know what you guys think about how we structure the show. I don't want it to feel like it's just two guys sitting in front of a microphone and just rambling about whatever they feel like rambling about. I do worry that it feels that way sometimes. I know we should probably get better about that, but I want to know if you guys think that's an appealing part of the show, if that's entertaining, or if you wish we had a more structured, rigid segment like, okay, today this is the news segment, this is the review segment. We tried doing that on the first episode, and we've been experimenting with sort of changing it up, like just going right into the big news story, the big topic of the week, and just discussing that, and then kind of just letting the show naturally progress from there. But yeah, we're still learning how to do this. We're both pretty new to podcasting, aside from the podcast I do with Pierce and I, but that's also pretty amateur as well. You know, we're not professionals at this, obviously. And so yeah, let's get right into the news. So, the big news of the week. There wasn't a top story this week to go over, but there was some interesting things that I think you guys would be interested in hearing. So, the PlayStation 5 solid-state drive. We talked about this a little bit last week, and I mentioned to Josh, it's got an 825 gig hard drive, or a solid-state drive. My mistake. Not a hard drive. It's got a 825 gig solid-state drive. And now since that's such a weird number, 825 gigs, it's not a even, 500 gigs or 1 terabyte, 825, I was led to assume that that's the amount of usable storage for the system, but it's not. What Josh was saying is like, no, there's going to be firmware on there, and he was right. So you'll get 768 gigs on the actual hard drive, which is crazy. It's not a lot of storage. I have a PS4 with a 500 gig hard drive, and it holds 4-5 games maybe, because games now can be anywhere from 20 gigs to 100 gigs. It seems like the rare oddity where a game is small. I think the most recent example, just this last week, Star Wars Squadrons is a really small download size. It's about 20 gigs, I believe. Let me double check that. But I remember being surprised. I bought it $40, and within an hour it was done. 22 gigs on PS4, 27 gigs on Xbox. That's pretty small compared to a lot of these games now. You download Gears 5 on your Xbox, and it's like 100 plus gigs. It's ridiculous. Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Warzone, that's obviously the most famous offender. People talk about that endlessly. So the main thing I wanted to talk about with the solid-state drive is we do have some news about buying expansions for it. So the solid-state drive in the PlayStation 5 is a specific type of solid-state, and it has a specific type of read speed, so you can't just put any solid-state in there. That means you can't put... it's reasonable to assume you won't even be able to use or boot games off of an external hard drive or an external solid state, because a lot of the games are going to be using this solid-state drive in specific ways. The most noticeable example of that is in the new Ratchet and Clank game, where they're warping, between full levels instantly, just like from one full level to the next. And that's not really possible on modern hardware. I mean, by modern, I mean current gen. PlayStation 4, Xbox One. So, Western Digital has announced its new SN850 solid-state hard drives are going to be compatible with PlayStation 5. because it has a read data that matches PlayStation 5's to be compatible with PlayStation 5. It has 7 gigs a second of data read. So the 500 gig and 1 terabyte options are $150 and $230. So if you bought this 1 terabyte solid state to put in your console, it's going to cost you $230. And this is, by the way, I should mention this is not licensed by Sony. This is just Western Digital releasing their new really fast solid state drives. These are top of the line solid state drives. So 1 terabyte, that's not really an upgrade. You know, you're going from 825 gigs to 1 terabyte for $230. That's not really worth it. So if you want to expand that, they have a 2 terabyte option, which costs $449.99 US. Yeah, that's very expensive, but it's worth remembering that over time, the prices will go down. But right off the bat, you know, you're not going to be able to expand your storage space unless you want to pay the price of another PlayStation 5 console. It would be cheaper to just buy a second PS5 than it would be to buy a 2 terabyte solid state stick that'll go in your console. Moving on from that, there was a video that went semi-viral this week where the PlayStation 5 was shown off in its vertical and horizontal proportions. And the reason why it went kind of viral was because Xbox posted a tweet like as a retort to it where they were saying, oh, if you want to turn your console from vertical to horizontal, you just tip it right over. It was sort of harkening back to that old E3 2013 video where Microsoft's E3 show, they were saying, oh, you can't share games, the system's always online, and they were making all these unpopular choices, you know. So during Sony's press conference, they put up that video saying, oh, you want to share a game on PS4? Is this how you do it? They played this little introduction, this little video saying how to share games on PS4. A little title graphic came up, and then Shuhei Yoshida just handed Sean Layden, I think it was Sean Layden, I can't recall, he just handed him a PS4 game. He's like, thanks. So kind of throwing shade a little bit at Sony for this video specifically. So what Push Square says is you will be able to place the PlayStation 5 both vertically and horizontally straight out of the box. And the solution is a cool one, no matter which way you go. So to place the console vertically, there's a screw that can be used to secure it in place, fully attaching the system to the stand. Now, if you see this video, it reminds me a lot of the PlayStation 2 Slim vertical stand. The PlayStation 2 Slim had a vertical stand that looks a lot like this. It's like a disc shape, and you would actually have to screw it into the base of the console. And I don't know how many people remember that. I remember I bought that vertical stand. I don't know why. I just thought it looked cool having the system vertical at the time. And now my entertainment center can't even house a vertical system. You know, when I get these new consoles, I'm gonna have to store both of them vertically. With the way my entertainment system, it's like shelves, really short shelves that won't even be able to hold a 12-inch tall system. Push Square goes on to say, meanwhile, if you want to place the PS5 horizontally, there will be a small compartment inside the stand itself for you to place the screw in. Now, you don't have to worry about losing it should you decide to change your setup in the future. It's nicely tucked away in the stand, always there for when you need it. After generations of consoles having used pieces of sliding plastic to secure your systems, this definitely seems like the most fail-safe way to do it. Moving on from that. So, what I've been interested to see is the PlayStation 5's general interface, the UI. And we haven't seen it. It's very weird because the year the PS4 was coming out in 2013, we saw all sorts of videos of people loading in and out of Knack and whatever. I remember there was a video where someone like jumped into playing Knack and then they booted out and they were messaging somebody and they jumped right back into the game and it was super smooth and seamless. And I remember seeing this video and just being mind blown because the PS3 was so slow, it was so clunky, and seeing a UI that was super fast and speedy was just amazing. And I've been interested in seeing, with the power of the PS5, if that's going to carry over into the PS5 and be faster. Because my PS4 runs fine, but a lot of my friends tell me that over time their PS4s have become really slow and really bogged down. even if they do other methods where they like clear the cache, the system cache on the system, or reformat the drive, they just get old, and over time they slow down. And I would think that since this is a solid state drive, the actual loading of information won't slow down over time, since they just last longer. Over time, hard drives just get old and die. Every 5 to 10 years, I think they just get bad. And I've had a hard drive go bad on me before like that. So in a preview published by Dengeki Online, they revealed that the Sony is keeping the user interface under wraps. So during this preview event where they played Astro's Playroom and Godfall, they didn't allow attendees to look in the system's menus. It also blocked the create button from being used, so we don't know what features that will bring either. This is all from pushsquare.com. So from previous patents and interviews, we know that the PlayStation 5 will likely include an Alexa-style support system, while its uber-fast solid state will allow you to jump to specific parts of a game, rather than wait for its main menu to load, kind of, saying, PlayStation, bring me to Knack level 2, and it'll just immediately load right into the second level of Knack. Furthermore, it sounds like this will be a much more social console than past PlayStations. Okay, so it's weird. It's weird that, and I don't think I'm the only one who thinks this, it's just bizarre that they're not showing the user interface and that they're hiding it. I think it's very clear that it's not ready. Like, the actual interface isn't ready. Someone made a post on Twitter a couple days ago saying that the PlayStation 5 was delayed, and I clicked on it, and it was a Rickroll, and I can't believe I fell for it. But I totally fell for it, because it's honestly surprising to me that how little they've shown of these consoles, and how late they've even gone on sale. And to add to that, there's another news story this week, jumping ahead just a little bit, where Sony expects, this is from IGN, Sony expects PlayStation 5 to sell more than PS4 did in its first fiscal year. Which is crazy to me, because it seems like people can't even find this damn thing. So, it's reasonable to assume that the demand for the PS5 is just higher than it was for PS4. And that they're actually making more PS5 consoles than they did PS4. If you guys remember, back when the PlayStation 4 was coming out, a lot of journalists, I should say analysts were predicting this is the last console generation. PS4, Xbox One, Wii U will be the last console generation. And I think the Wii U's poor sales kind of fueled into that. It fueled into people thinking, oh yeah, poor sales, people just don't want new consoles. And then the PS4 comes out, and it sells well, and then Xbox One sells so poorly that we don't even really know how much it sold. Microsoft hasn't actually released that information. But the PlayStation 4 sells well. But I remember that first year, and it felt like PlayStation 4 was kind of soft compared to... And it was just a feeling. It wasn't really backed by any data or sales numbers. But I remember all you had to play was Bloodborne in that first year. What else was there? I'm thinking back. Assassin's Creed Black Flag. There was some games, but like any first year of the console, there wasn't a lot. And at the same time, a lot of the mid-tier... I mean, this is kind of changed now, but at that time, a lot of mid-tier developers were closing, or publishers, I should say. Like THQ at the time was closing down, Pandemic was just closed down, Ensemble Studios, owned by Microsoft, had been closed down. A lot of these sort of mid-tier, I guess Ensemble was AAA, but whatever. A lot of these mid-tier developers were gone, and so we really just had indie games and then the big tentpole AAA games. So I remember getting a PS4, and it was like, all I played was Resogun and Metal Gear Solid, what the heck was it called? Ground Zeroes. So yeah, it was like you either had big, massive AAA or little indie games. And that was kind of all we had on that system. And so I think because the way the industry looked at that time, a lot of people thought, PS4 is not going to do as well as PS3, especially since PS3 sold a lot less than PS2. I think people saw the decline of the video game console space, and also mobile games were huge. But it wasn't true. PS4 has gone on to sell more than 100 million units, which is just insane. Switch is doing really well. Xbox One apparently is doing well, even though they're not really talking about its sales information. I'm sure it's around 50 million. It has to be. There's no way it's less than that. I'm just totally guessing. But yeah, we still haven't seen the interface of the PlayStation 5, and Sony expects it to do well. So I'll take them at their word. I expect it to do well. As also, I just don't know if we'll be able to find it. I'm really expecting a Switch-like situation, or a Wii-like situation, really, where the first, 6 months to a year, you're just like talking to each other like, oh, I saw Walmart has them right now. Oh, I went into Target and they had stacks of them. Whereas, all your other friends are saying, oh, I've been everywhere and I can't find it. I can't order it online. So we'll see. I think it's possible after those first few launch months, November and December, it'll probably be easier to find in January, February. I wouldn't be surprised if in January you'll be able to just walk into a store and grab it. I think with holidays coming up, it might be hard to find. My initial suspicion was that it wasn't going to sell well just because people don't have purchasing power right now. Especially, speaking for me personally, my wife and I have sort of reduced hours. We work in hourly jobs, and our hours aren't, reduced to nothing, but they're reduced less than what it was before the pandemic started. And I know millions and millions and millions of other Americans are also feeling that same lack of purchasing power. And I really do think that it looks like a lot of people just want to buy the system anyway. Since they're stuck inside, I think people are saving up money for these game systems. I think I'm basing this suspicion off the fact that the pre-orders are selling out right away. I think if the majority of Americans weren't able to afford this and weren't able to get it, the pre-orders would be stagnant and they'd still be up right now. If they had several million pre-orders available to go, they wouldn't have sold out right away. That's my logic. You guys can agree, disagree. Josh might disagree, I don't know. But anyways, some more news. PlayStation Trophies got a big update last night. So if you're listening to this now, you can already see that Sony has changed the way PlayStation Trophy levels work. Just go in and sync your trophies and you'll immediately see your new level. So this is from Push Square. This new system introduces a new set of levels, the trophy levels, going all the way up to 999. And trophy values have been adjusted at the same time. Now, for those not familiar with trophies, the way it works is you earn a trophy like you do achievements, but instead of an achievement point or achievement score, it's like a hidden trophy amount on the back end that contributes to your overall trophy level. Before this, I never really knew anybody to even care about the trophy levels just because it leveled up so small. Like, the increments were so small. So, like, most people were, like, between level 20 and 30 because the amount of trophies it took to level up in that space was just ridiculous. So they're expanding it to go from, level 0 to level 999. So now, if you were level 29 now, you'll be around level 382, and that's just an estimate from this article. They rearranged the trophy levels so that there's 3 different tiers of bronze trophies, 3 different tiers of silver trophies, 3 different tiers of gold, and then the platinum trophy. And they're all different points. Like a bronze trophy can be worth between 1 to 300 points, silver's 300 to 600, gold is 600 to 998 points, and a platinum trophy is worth 999 points that contributes to your level. So yeah, check it out, guys. See what your level is now in comparison to what it used to be. Maybe compare your trophy levels to your friends. In non-PlayStation news, if you guys have a Switch, the Pikmin 3 Deluxe demo is now out. So, Pikmin 3 came out on the Wii U. Let me double check my facts here. It originally came out on the Wii U in 2013. I have been eagerly anticipating this game. I can't wait. I will happily pay $60 for this game. I know a lot of people are sort of lukewarm on the fact that it costs that much, but I do not care. There was a time where I debated just getting a refurbished Wii U back when they were, I think, $200? I think you could get a refurbished Wii U, maybe even $150 back in the day. And I debated getting one just so I could play Twilight Princess Remastered and especially Pikmin 3. I love the first 2 Pikmin games. I really love the first one. I have a soft spot in my heart for that game. So Pikmin 3 Deluxe is coming on October 30th, and it's a remastered version of Pikmin 3 on the Wii U. And the demo's going up tonight, it's already up. I'm reading this article from IGN saying it's going up tonight, but this was 2 days ago. The demo's up now, and the demo includes save data transfer, so you can carry your progress over to the full game when it's released. So check it out if you're interested in Pikmin 3, or even if you've never played a Pikmin game, try it. They're really fun. It's hard to describe. I always loved the first one, being able to replay it in that 30-day time frame, but I don't think this third one has a time limit, because the second one didn't either. But it's basically, it's kind of got, it's hard to describe. You're a little spaceman, you run around and pick up Pikmin on the level, and the Pikmins have different abilities, and you're sort of going around these levels defeating enemies and gathering up materials for your ship. I don't know if the third game's like that, or if it's different, or how it changes it up, but yeah, they're great games. I'm excited to play this third one. I'm going to try out the demo. And so try out the demo, and then once the full game comes out, you'll be able to just transfer all that save data over with no time wasted. Some slightly less video game news, but video game related, something I'm very excited about. Universal Studios Japan, their Super Nintendo World is opening in spring 2021. You guys should check out some of these pictures. It's crazy looking. It's a theme park area in Universal Studios Japan, and it looks like a 3D Mario game. It looks amazing, and it's super impressive. I'm a huge fan of theme parks. Me and my wife are huge fans of Disneyland and Disney World. We're really bummed about not having been able to go since February. But yeah, this looks incredible. If I ever do go to Japan, I am definitely thinking about going to Universal Studios Japan. It looks really cool. You guys should check out the pictures online. Other news, Cyberpunk 2077, the full map has leaked online. If you guys like video game leaks, check it out. It was on IGN. The map looks huge. I'm going to cut this out. I don't fucking care about Cyberpunk. In other news, so this is the main topic I wanted to talk about for my half of this episode. So Xbox's Phil Spencer, the bigwig head of Xbox at Microsoft, he's not sure if 8K, 8K resolution will ever be standard in video games. This is from IGN. Xbox Phil Spencer has said that he isn't sure if 8K resolution will ever be standard for video games, calling it aspirational technology. Talking to Wired, Spencer said, "I think 8K is aspirational technology. The display capabilities of devices are not really there yet. I think we're years away from 8K being, if it ever is, standard in video games." So 8K resolution is 7,680 pixels by 4,320. So it's 7680 by 4320. Your standard home TV is 1980 by 1080. That's way less pixels than an 8K TV. Now, I think Phil Spencer's right on the money, and I wanted to talk about this just because there's a lot of miscommunication, a lot of misleading marketing and advertising about the differences between 1080p, 4K resolution, and 8K resolution. And I know the majority of people, when they hear 4K and 8K, their eyes just immediately glaze over, and they're like, I don't care. I do not care. 1080p looks amazing. I don't care about 4K. I don't care about 8K. And I think people are right to think that. I know some, video files out there are probably hearing me and thinking, what the heck? 4K is essential. You have to have 4K. You don't. I have a 4K TV, and I've done a little bit of research into, the amount of information you can even tell between 1080p and 4K. Now, most people can't even tell the difference between 1080p and 4K, let alone 8K. So the reason why is because the way resolution works is it's simply the amount of information you're getting on that screen. It's just simply the amount of pixels you're getting. And sometimes if you have a 40-inch TV, you don't need more than 1080p on a 40-inch. Honestly, it's debatable if you even need 1080p. You can have 720 on a 20-inch monitor and it looks just fine. You don't need 4K on a TV that size. Now, 1080p resolution looks amazing and essential on pretty much any device. Even your iPhone, 1080p resolution looks a lot better than 720p. It looks much more sharp. There's more information you can see. We have amazing displays now. But there is a point of no return with the amount of information you're getting. It gets to the point where, well, how much more information do you even need to see, and can your eye even detect it? And I think to a lot of people, saying that 4K and 8K is overrated and you don't need it sounds like back in 2005 when Nintendo was like, no, our Wii video game console doesn't need to be high definition. And they were wrong. HD caught on way faster than what Nintendo had anticipated. But the thing is, with high definition, there is a massive jump from 480p to 1080p. Even just 480p to 720p. There's a big jump in information that you're getting on the screen. I just finished getting all 120 stars in Super Mario Galaxy on the Switch, and seeing that game in 1080p looks phenomenal compared to what it was in 480p or 480i if you didn't have the right cables, interlaced resolution. Just seeing it in 480i compared to 1080p on a big 60-inch TV, it's just a massive difference. I remember playing Wii games on a 40-inch TV back in the day, a 40-inch HD TV, and they look terrible. Even back then, I have a 60-inch TV now, but even playing on a 30-inch or 40-inch TV back then, it was like, man, this does not look good. And I remember the biggest thing with resolution is it's just the amount of, like I've said before, it's the amount of information you're getting on the screen. So the way you can really see this is Super Smash Bros. On the Wii and Super Smash Bros. On the Wii U and the Switch. So Super Smash Bros. On the Wii was hard to play for people on any monitor smaller than 40 inches, 50 inches, because the lack of information allowed the screen to just be cluttered. Everybody's fighting. And I remember when that game came out, everybody kept talking about, wow, it's hard to see what's going on, just because the resolution was so low. Whereas now when you play Super Smash Bros. On a Switch, you can play it on your tiny handheld, and there's no issues. You can play it handheld on the Switch, but because it's 720p resolution, you have the necessary information to make out the difference between the characters and the items and whatever's flying around on the screen. And that's mainly what I wanted to say, was just, there is no way that 8K will ever be standard. And honestly, I don't even think 4K is even going to be standard, except for the fact that you can't find a TV that isn't 4K capable now. So, I think everybody at some point soon will have a 4K TV. Whether they even use that is, totally up in the air, because in order to utilize 4K resolution on a 4K TV, and I think we've talked about this on the show before, but you have to have a special high-speed HDMI cable. You have to have certain settings enabled on your TV to have 4K or HDR. You also have to have it plugged into the right HDMI port on your TV, and a lot of this isn't explained to anybody. No one's educating anybody on the ins and outs of the way this works. But honestly, it doesn't really matter that much, because beyond 1440p, you can't really tell unless you have a 90-inch monitor. And this is from, I was doing some Googling, and on thunderboltlaptop.com, they have a little blurb saying, if using displays up to 60 inches, you can't see the difference between 4K and 8K. You need a screen about 100 inches in size to even tell the difference between 4K and 8K. Otherwise, you have to sit right up to an 8K display to even see the extra detail that you're missing. And I know that 8K is a big thing for video games. A lot of people are thinking, oh, this is going to be the next big step from 4K. How many people do you know that even have a 4K computer monitor? A lot of people are still using 1080p monitors. There's really no reason to have a monitor that big in front of your face for a computer. But for TVs, you can buy 8K monitors now, but they're really expensive. They're up to $4,000, and sometimes they're only, 32 inches in size. I'm looking at this one right here, this Dell Ultra Sharp 32-inch 8K monitor. You can't see those extra pixels. I guarantee if you're going from 4K to 8K, you can't tell. You can't tell the extra information you're getting. But yeah, so if you have a 1080p TV, don't feel bad, because you don't really need a 4K TV. It's very overrated, and honestly, most movies are shot in 2K, which is a close analog to 1080p. Most movies are shot in lower resolution than 4K now. Most movies are shot digitally, they're shot in 2K, and the main reason is because it's cheaper to do all these visual effects in this lower 2K resolution instead of mastering them all in 4K. But I think that's it from me. I think we'll jump into the segment with me and Josh. We're back. Josh is here now.
I'm here. Well, I'm not here or there. Or am I?
Right. I don't know. Is he here?
Where am I? I don't know.
Yeah, we're recording this episode remotely, but people probably can't even tell if we hadn't said anything.
Oh, whoops. Just spoiled it. Restart.
Anyway. Yeah. Show must go on.
Yep.
But yeah, I figured we could talk about what we're playing. I've been playing a lot of stuff, especially today. I played a bunch of different games. And I mean, I know last week you had a big list of games that you played.
Yeah, is today your day off? You got to play a bunch of games today?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, today's one of my days off.
I have a smaller list this week, so if you want to go over what you've been playing, or yeah,
Yeah, I'll just go over what I've been playing. So the main thing I played today was Doom Eternal, and that game
Ooh.
is just... I played it a little bit last week. I played like the first 1 or 2 levels, so I didn't have... I don't think I had anything. No, yeah, because it came out a week ago, so I haven't talked about it on the podcast at all yet. But it's really fun.
Yeah, it came out last Friday. Yeah, so
Yeah, that's right. So it's really, really fun. It's a lot like the first game, but so like the first game, the whole concept of it was, okay, it's a shooter. It's like the old classic Doom, but you played it. It's like you're just constantly moving. You're trying to not really chain attacks, but you're trying to just constantly be moving and shooting and always doing something. As soon
most
as you
of the levels look the same too.
Say what?
In the first game, I felt like most of the levels looked the same until you got about halfway through with the spoilers.
That's what I was going to say about the second game is Doom Eternal. Like, the environments are really varied.
Nice.
It's very weird because it has a hub world, and I know that's been like a Bethesda thing lately. I know Wolfenstein Youngblood had a hub world and everybody hated it.
Huh.
But Doom Eternal has a hub world, but it works okay. I don't know if it was really necessary.
Is it a ship? Like, are you on
a ship?
Yeah,
you're like in this ship and you're kind of overseeing Earth, and you're kind of the story's weird. I don't know if I fully understand it. I guess I need to read the codexes or whatever, but it seems like the story is kind of you're leading a one-man resistance arm, like just you're leading a one-man fight against like all of these demons overtaking Earth.
That's confidence right there.
Yeah, but you're in like the ship, and
are humans on Earth still alive?
No, there's no visible humans. It makes it sound like there's like little radio broadcasts you can listen to on the ship where it talks about like the status of Earth and everything. So I assume there are people, but I think the areas you're in are just overrun with demons.
I forget if Doom Guy is a human.
I think so. I don't remember. The main thing about the game
is a cool suit.
Yeah, it's like the main thing with the game is that none of that matters. The story doesn't really matter. It's just you're just running around, just killing these big, grotesque, disgusting demons.
In the grossest way, right?
Yeah, and this game, even more so than the first game, the way the enemies... What I've been really impressed with is I've heard people talk about it already, but I was actually really blown away with like the technology, the engine and everything. I forget what they call it. IdTech 7, I think, is the name of the engine. But yeah, when you shoot enemies, like bits of them will fly off.
Nice.
And yeah, it's really, really fluid and smooth. And I'm playing it on the 1X, but I'm reading on Reddit from other people playing it because of game. Like so many people are playing it now because of Game Pass. People are saying it runs great on every system. Like it runs perfectly smooth, 60 frames, looks amazing.
I was surprised the first one. I can imagine because the first one was beautiful. Like everything about it was so smooth. The 60 frames, it did not stutter at all. I remember. Yeah, I just remember that experience being amazing. So I can imagine that the second one's even better.
Yeah, there's a lot of... It's been a long time since I played the first game, but I don't remember there being so much platforming.
There wasn't. The first one had very, very minimal, and I felt like the first one, the platforming was more for finding hidden areas or secret areas.
Yeah.
It wasn't as bad. There was some more intense platforming towards the end of the game, I remember, in the depths of hell. But, spoilers, you kind of
go to hell. Spoiler.
Yeah. In Doom, you go to hell, yeah.
So, in Doom Eternal, the platforming's not hard. It's not complicated. It's not difficult. And if you die, you just immediately respawn.
Yeah.
There is a live system. I'm playing on normal, and the fights are challenging. Like, I die a fair amount, but the more you play, the better you get. But even on normal, it's challenging. It's pretty tough.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the platforming isn't that difficult and crazy. There is some little mini jumpings and platforming things you have to do just for the story, but then you can use the map to see all the extra hidden stuff, and there's tons of hidden things. Yeah, I really recommend people check it out. It's really good.
Is the platforming alongside the combat areas, or is it separate?
No, it's separate.
Okay.
It's actually kind of, I like the way they've set it up,
So
because
it's kind of like Destiny raid, where like in a Destiny raid you have your your fighting section, but then you have
yeah,
a platforming section.
it does have an element of that. There's pretty much no enemies when you're doing the platforming sections. The enemies just show up in the actual encounters themselves.
Like arenas.
And the encounters in the arenas, they're specifically designed areas to fight enemies.
That's awesome.
And they're all designed with that intention. Like there's like, poles you could swing on and stuff you could jump. Like there's all designed to be fun areas to fight enemies in.
Mm-hmm.
And so the game never feels overwhelming, because you don't feel like you're trying to do this complex jump, double jumps, like dash platforming move while enemies are shooting at you.
Yeah.
You're not trying to progress through the environment while enemies are shooting.
Similar to the first game, where kind of a Metroidvania style? Is it similar in that way, where you kind of you see an area, it's like, oh wait, you can't go there yet. You have to go get 3 different skulls. Or is it similar to that, or is that going to be a spoiler?
No, it's not. I mean, I don't remember the first game being Metroidvania. Like, I know it had the things where you had to like open doors and stuff like that.
Yeah, I guess it wasn't. It wasn't as intense or as deep as a Metroidvania, but it was. I remember getting to this one area, and I could choose to go in 3 different directions. I remember.
Oh, I don't remember that.
It was like, I think it's the first time, spoilers here if you haven't played the first Doom, but the first time you go to hell, and you have to escape hell. I remember there being a big open area, and then I can go either towards the blue skull, towards the yellow skull, or towards the red skull, or something like that. So I don't know. I don't know if it was.
But yeah, it is very linear. I mean, when you go down but it branches off just for little extras and secrets. But I've gotten most of the secrets.
Wow.
As far as like collectibles, they're not hard to. The collectibles aren't hard to find, and they're fun until you see them on the map and you're trying to figure out how to get them.
Yeah.
And the collectibles do some stuff for the game too. Like you can find cheat codes that you can use for when you replay the game. Like I just found an infinite ammo cheat code on the
nice.
That was in a secret place.
That's right.
But
I remember the cheat codes in the first one. You find little bobbleheads, I think it was.
Yeah,
kind of like Fallout. I guess that's a Bethesda thing, but
yeah,
it was like a little bobblehead that you can find, and it gave you this cool ability, infinite ammo, or
yeah.
So,
but the main core gameplay loop of the combat is just having there's so many different systems and unlockables. It's almost overwhelming. People could play it and see for themselves, but yeah, there's the game slowly over the course of the first hour or two kind of gives you more and more stuff. Like there's so many things to unlock. There's the weapon perk upgrades, and then the perks have their own little subsystem of unlocks that are unlocked with their own specific points that you earn for completing enemy encounters.
That's cool.
And then there's hidden runes you can find in the environment. There's hidden like armor upgrades you can find in the environment, and those have their own unlocks. Like there's tons. There's probably like 6 or 7 different systems of unlocking.
Yeah.
There's a ton of stuff to collect and unlock.
Each one does something, productive for your
play style, and right? they all feel like they do something. And yeah, people should play it if they haven't yet. It's really good.
I mean, it's free on Game Pass, right? It's included in your Game Pass. Is it included on PC Game Pass, or is that just an Xbox Game Pass?
No, it's just Xbox. I looked. It was
Bummer.
just PC.
Sorry, Scott.
Or just Xbox.
Sorry, brother.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's going to come to PC eventually, because this is Microsoft.
Well, it's on PC.
Well,
to buy it.
On Game Pass, especially if it's already on PC to buy it. Like Microsoft bought Bethesda, they're not going to let it sit on just on Xbox.
That's
right?
true.
So
that's true. They might bring it.
Yeah.
The other thing I've been playing, I played a little bit today, is Super Mario 35.
Oh,
on Switch. Have you played it at all?
Yeah, this will be a little crossover because that's what I played mostly this week.
Oh, really? I didn't play it a ton. I probably only played it for half hour to an hour before I started making dinner today, and it was really fun.
I suck horribly.
I'm not good either.
I thought I was okay at Mario. Like I've played Mario before. I've heard of this game Mario. Like I've been around a little bit in gaming, but no, dude, people are nuts with that game. especially if they're sending. You want to go over just like how that explain what Mario 35 is.
It's easiest to explain if you've played Tetris 99.
Yes.
If you played Tetris 99, you basically know what it is. It's a battle royale game, but it's with you and 35 other players, and you're going through a level from Super Mario Brothers 1. I mean, multiple levels if you progress. But the idea is that
everyone starts at the same level, right?
Everyone starts at the same level, and everyone's going through these levels and killing enemies, and then the enemies are being used to attack or to put those enemies in your human enemies game. But you have to kill enemies. You have to kill enemies to keep your time limit up. If you just sit there, eventually you're going to run out of time and you die.
Similar to Tetris 99, if you guys have played that. Basically, in Tetris 99, when you would erase a line, when you complete a line, right, and it disappears, that line would get sent, and you could send it to 4 different areas, I believe. But you could, or you could send it to a specific person if you want individually. But you send that line to the person's puzzle, and it bumps their puzzle up. And in that same way, if you jump on an enemy's head that's in your game, which is a normal colorful enemy, right? Normal colored, and then it will send that enemy that you just killed to a different player's screen, so then they have to deal with that enemy. So if you're the problem with not the problem, but the intense part about the game is if you're sitting around and not really progressing, your screen's going to fill up. And when an enemy comes to your screen, when an enemy player sends an enemy to your screen, it's grayed. It's like grayed out, right? So the normal enemies that would have been there are just the brown little mushrooms, right? Yeah. But then the enemies that got added to your game are like grayed out. So you can see, but I was at one point, it felt like hundreds of those characters on my screen. At one point, I think I did like a 7 or 8 like hops in a row, just like hop, like hopping on all their heads. I was impressed by it, but yeah, it's an intense game, very intense.
Yeah, it's fun. I haven't done very well at it. I haven't. Have you won a game at all?
No. So the closest I got was 17th place. So I guess half. So I survived half the enemies, I guess. But it is difficult because people are good at platformers, and especially Mario. So there's pros out there that have probably never stopped playing since the 80s. And well,
it's a different type. You're not just, because I played I played every 2D Mario game.
But it definitely benefits you to know these levels.
Maybe,
I saw some people going to after you die, you could kind of watch enemies. You could watch the game play out, and I did that one time, and people were going into secret areas that I forgot existed and all that, and
they don't function. They don't function the same way they do in the main game. Like I went in level 1-2, you can hop up and go over the brick on the top, and you can go past the exit. And there's some warp pipes over there, but the warp pipes only led to level 1-4. They didn't go, beyond world 1 for me. So I don't really know how that works, or maybe it's because I haven't unlocked those worlds. You know how their levels are like blocked off when you first start?
Yeah.
And you just have 1-1 to choose from.
That's kind of the hook of the game, is unlocking every level, because I forget how many levels there are, but I only have the first 2 unlocked or the first 3 unlocked because that's as far as I've gone, because it's difficult to get further than that. I feel like past 15 players left, it's just a different level of skill.
The time limit really messes with my head.
Yeah,
because Mario games have a timer, but they're pretty generous.
Like 900 seconds or something.
Yeah, you got like 5 minutes, and it's like boom, you got 30 seconds, and if you don't start killing enemies now, you're gonna run out of time. So you can't just leisurely skip the enemies and beat the levels. You have to keep trying to kill the enemies.
Yeah, and you can get, similar to the original Mario, you can get, or I guess different Marios, you can get the power-ups, right? So you can get the power-ups naturally in level like you normally would by hitting a box, a question mark box or whatever. But I noticed there was another mechanic where if you killed enough enemies, you can basically roll a box. I think you hit X, and then it starts rolling kind of a random rolled box, and then you hit X again to like jump up and hit it, and it stops on whatever it is. And a few of those are like the what is it, POW, right? Like it, if you get the POW box and it kills all the enemies on the screen, or you can
a
star,
flower, the fire flower.
Yes. Oh man. So that fire flower is probably key to winning that game, or at least surviving.
It gives you less time, though. Did you notice that?
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Because you kill enemies, it's harder, or it's easier to kill enemies, so it gives you less time.
Yeah, it only gives you 1 second.
Oh, dude, that's probably what was happening. I was timed out a couple times. I thought I was doing well, but I was timed out a couple times. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, if you look at closely, it says like +1 seconds or whatever when you kill them with the fire flower, just because it's so easy to kill people with that.
3 seconds if you jump on their head, I think.
Yeah, 2 or 3. I forget what it is. I've seen 2, I've seen 3. Yeah. It might be the enemy type. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much all I've been playing. I want to play the Pikmin 3 Deluxe demo is out.
Oh, wait. Before you move on, what do you like better? Do you like Tetris 99 or Mario 35?
I don't know. Probably. I mean, Mario 35 they both feel really interesting and unique.
Yeah.
Aren't they shutting down Mario 35 in March?
Yeah, that was one of the things they announced, which I hope they turn back on it, because if there's a high attach rate to this game and you shut it down from millions of players, or hundreds of thousands of players.
I mean, it could be millions. We don't know.
It could be. I mean, Mario, I'm sure. Imagine all the people that bought Switches over the course of COVID-19, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's staying at home for Animal Crossing and whatnot, right? All those people now just have a free game popping up on their Nintendo Switch, right? And you have to have Nintendo Switch Online. So I guess it's kind of dependent on if people are paying the $20 for the online.
Right.
Per year, which is super cheap. I don't know. It's a no-brainer for me to pay $20 a year,
Yeah.
But and you get all these you get Tetris 99, you get the Mario 35, and then you get all the NES and Super NES games that are released. So it is and you could play other games online too, right?
Oh yeah, it just allows you to play online in general.
Yeah, so I think it's a good deal for $20, and so anyone that has that, I would be curious to see the attach rate of Nintendo Switch Online. Because I know there's got to be 1 million plus people playing Tetris 99. Because I get into those matches within seconds, and I still get into those matches ever since it's came out. And
there's probably 100,000 or more, and there has to be. I doubt it's millions.
You don't think so? I mean, Tetris. I guess
maybe. I don't know.
If this console sold 50 million plus, right? We're at 60 million. I don't know.
True.
It could be 1 million or 2. I don't know at any given moment, because it's a worldwide system, right? The online and everything.
I mean, Among Us is also like a worldwide phenomenon, and that hits 1 million on Steam.
1 million, weekend, so. Yeah, just on Steam though, not on phone.
Mobile, yeah, that's true.
Imagine mobile. Mobile's got to be.
Yeah, it might be more. Yeah.
Multi-million. So, anyways, so you think they're both unique for what they are?
Yeah, and I don't know. I personally like the Mario one more so far. I haven't played it as much. I like it a lot. It's interesting. I'm gonna keep playing it and checking it out.
Yeah, trying
to win.
I feel like I'm kind of determined to
win
get better. Yeah, to win. Like if I could get top 10, I'd be satisfied for now. And then I'm sure once I hit top 10, I'll want to win, right?
Yeah.
But if I could break that top 10, I feel like I would be satisfied. But I also the hook of earning all the levels, at least unlocking all the levels, that'd be really cool to do too. It
seems impossible.
It really does. I wonder if there's anyone I'm sure there's people who have done it, but that sounds, you would have to survive a long time. But I heard a lot of people, some of the main complaints I've heard about it is it's going on like 25 to 30 minutes per match,
Wow.
Some matches 40 minutes because people are so damn good at platforming. They just stay alive and they keep the timer going. So I'm sure they might fix that eventually, because that's the one thing I liked about Tetris 99 is I can jump into a match and be done within 5 minutes, and sometimes even win within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Depending on how bad other people are. But
I think Tetris overall is a more simpler, more effective concept to do battle royale. I think it probably works better.
It's more
accessible. Mario 35 is just so weird.
Yeah, it's wonky. Compared to most battle royales,
yeah. Super Mario battle royale.
When they announced that, I was like, "Wait, how would they do that?" But I feel like they pulled it off. Honestly, I'm not saying
it's good.
I'm not saying game of the year or anything, but this is definitely a game worth checking out. Tetris 99 was my favorite game, probably my most played game on Switch underneath Animal Crossing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I've played a ton of hours in I think it's like 40, 50 plus hours just in Tetris 99.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those games you could just easily jump into, and
you're obsessed with that game.
Oh, I love it. It's just it's the game you need when you just beat The Last of Us, something so intense and so heavy, and you're like, I just want to like turn my brain off for a little bit and literally jump in for 2 minutes. And because I usually play like if I'm waiting, if my wife and I want to watch a show on Netflix or whatever, I'll just pop in handheld and play Tetris 99 for a match or two, while I'm waiting, stuff like that. Dinner's almost ready or whatever. You could just jump in, So it's one of those easily to access games. Same with handheld. Mario 35 kind of worries me because, I mean, I suck at it, so my matches are 5 minutes or less. but I could see if you get better and better, it'd be you kind of have to commit more time to it. But honestly, I think I'm with you. I like both for different reasons. I think this is a big win for Nintendo, just bringing the attach rate back, with all these consoles coming out. I think, and I've spoken on this before, I think that's why they did this is put the time limit. I think they did that on purpose for like, hey, remember us? I know these new consoles are coming out, but Nintendo, we still exist, and you can only play this game until March, trying to get people to, buy 3D All-Stars and then this game. I could see that could be their plan,
I wonder if they'll go back on the time limit.
In
January, they'll be like, nah, it's available forever.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
They really should. The only reason I would see them not doing that, I don't see a reason why they wouldn't do that. I'm trying to think of like, why would you take that attach rate?
Game.
Yeah, successful game. Why would you just take that away? I don't know. I can't tell you. Anyways, what are you going to say, Pikmin?
Yeah, so what I mentioned on the first half of the show is that the Pikmin 3 Deluxe, which comes out October 30th, there's a demo out on Switch now. It came out last night, and so it'll be up if you're listening to this now. But you download that demo, and it's one of those demos where your saves will transfer to the full game when it comes out. So
smart.
Yeah, so the demo is like the first, hour of the game or whatever, however long it is.
Is it a time demo or a level?
I don't know. I haven't played it yet.
Oh, okay.
But I was going to play it before this, but I didn't have time.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm excited to play that and check that out.
That comes out. That's already out right now?
It's already out now, yeah.
Oh, cool. I'll have to try that. I've never played a Pikmin game.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I haven't played it, so I'm assuming it's like the other Pikmin games, which is, you run around and gather materials for your ship to repair it with the little Pikmin dudes. It's fun. It's got a strategy element to it.
I felt so lost playing the Pikmin dude on
Smash,
yeah. I tried him for like 2 seconds. I was like, nope, can't. Yeah. I don't know how do you even attack.
Yeah, he's a hard character to play in Smash.
Yeah, so I don't. Weird. How do you know anything about the full game? If it's like, what are the moves and stuff? Like, what do you do? You said you pick up stuff.
What do you do?
Ship, but like, what's the actual gameplay of attacking and stuff?
Well, in the first two, so I can't speak to the third one, but in the first two, so the basic concept of the first one is your ship crashes on this weird alien planet, and you go around and you find that there's these little little Pikmin creatures, and you're pulling them out of the ground and collecting them, and each color does something different, and you're taking the Pikmin and you're collecting them. So you'll come up to an object that has like a number on it, like a number 10, and that means you need 10 Pikmin to pick it up. So you'll trying to divvy up your Pikmin and, throw your Pikmin at these objects to have them pick them up and carry it back to your ship. And they carry it like ants, like ants carry a leaf or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's basically it. You're like in this giant garden environment. You're like ants. That's what it feels like. It's like you're controlling these little ant armies. There's enemies and stuff. There's enemies, and they can kill you. Enemies. And you have to like throw your Pikmin at the enemies, and they attack them. Yeah, it's cute. It's sad when they die. And
do the enemies have the same number system where you need 3 Pikmin to kill this enemy?
Or? Yeah, you'll need like a good amount to kill certain enemies. Okay. I don't know if it says the number on the enemy. It's been so long since I played them.
Yeah,
but yeah, they're fun. They're weird, but
sounds wacky.
Yeah, it's got like an RTS vibe to it. Yeah, the first game had a time limit on it, which people hated it, but I kind of liked it because it meant I don't know, it wasn't, it's not a roguelike, but it has that element to it because I would just keep replaying the game to try and beat it faster.
Time limit on each level or the entire game?
Each level and the game. So It was like you had a certain amount of time to beat, like it was like day one, and then you spent day one doing whatever you felt like, and you had 30 days to beat the game. If you didn't beat the game by day 30, you failed and had to restart the whole game. But it wasn't that long. You could beat the game pretty easily, but it was fun to try and beat it faster and faster.
Isn't that similar to Persona?
No, because there's a day system in Persona, but there's no limit. It's just,
I thought it like moves on to another season or a semester or something.
It does, but it moves on by you doing actions. So like you could just stand there forever and the time will never progress.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, time doesn't like flow naturally like it does.
Time is attached to actions.
Yeah, you spend time by doing an action.
Okay, that makes sense.
Persona.
So you might have to pass up certain. That's where the hook is, I guess, right?
Yes.
Pass
it's about
up
what
something.
You do.
Yeah. You have to make decisions. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never played a Pikmin game, so I have zero idea what I'm going to jump into.
Yeah. Check out the demo then, just because it's free and it's probably short.
Yeah, might as well.
What have you been playing this week?
So I've been playing. I've not as much as I did last week, but I jumped into a couple things. Jumped back into Knack.
I forgot you were playing.
Played that for like an hour or two. My updated report on it is it fucking sucks.
Whoa! What the heck?
It is the worst game ever made.
Wow.
And now that's a little dramatic, but basically, I see why people were so frustrated with it because it has the potential of being such a cool game, like a cool concept. But its execution is awful. I'm only on like the 4th mission, and
what's so bad about it? Because I always hear people say it's just so mediocre, which is why I was surprised last week when you said it was decent.
It was.
So what's so bad about it?
The hook into the game is really decent because it's so ridiculous, and the beginning levels worked with the mechanics. But I see why people are so frustrated with it, and why I got frustrated this week is because those mechanics only get you so far, and they don't really. You don't like upgrade your guy that much. Like, I mean, I'm only maybe 4 levels in, so maybe there is some type of upgrade later. But I feel like I have the moveset that I'm going to have, and the certain type of movement, like the way that Knack moves. And with the fixed camera, which is super frustrating, like the right analog stick is dodge. So like you click it or you hit the right analog stick in a certain direction and it'll dodge that way, right? Like a quick dodge. Yeah. That quick dodge, it actually hurts me a lot because I feel like it's different every time. Like sometimes it goes further than other times, and then um, when enemies swing at me, it's because of the camera angles. You can't quite tell if you're out of the way yet. So like, there's been times where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm out of the way, and then I get hit. And in this game, if you get hit, it's like 2 hits and you're dead, and you got to restart. I don't know,
Yeah.
and that's on normal. I'm playing on normal. I could have went it with easy, but I thought normal would have been fine for a silly platformer. But it's just very punishing in that way. It punishes you in ways where uh, I'll be jumping, trying, even just like going between uh, areas where enemies are. I get frustrated because I'm trying to jump, and you think it's supposed to work in a certain way. Like we've played platformers before where it's like, yeah, if I jump and I move like this, it's gonna grab the ledge and I'm gonna be pulled up, or I'm gonna land right here if I jump like this. But it just doesn't work in the way you expect it to work. So even just going between the things, I'm like getting frustrated. Like, why am I not jumping up here? Why can't I jump up here? And then there, they do. There's no balance in the game, so an enemy will hit you. The same enemy will hit you like 3 times, and then you're dead. But then that same enemy, you go back and try to kill him, and he'll do some like super move and kill you in one shot. And so there's no consistency with the enemies, so you can't really learn, because some enemies they'll have a bow, but then they'll swing their bow and spin and hit you with it, and it kills you in one shot. So there's no consistency in trying to learn what enemies do uh, to actually get better against them. I felt like I would be stuck on a part for like a good 2 minutes doing the same part over and over, the same like 3 enemies. And I keep respawning like 10 or 15 times. And then I rage quit it and then come back later and I kill them instantly. So I don't get it. I get why everyone's frustrated with it though. I'm on a boss level right now. I'm at the end of chapter 4 or 3 or something. And this boss shoots rockets at you that kill you in one hit, but you have no cover because the cover gets destroyed when the rocket tries to hit you. I don't know. The levels aren't designed well. Boss battles are kind of just meh. Nothing, nothing about it. I think the beginning of the game was cool, and I think that's why I was stoked on it, because I was pleasantly surprised. I was like, "Oh, these moves are cool. What are you going to do next? How is this game going to take me and challenge me and besides I don't like the challenge of being frustrated by your own mechanics. The mechanics should be aiding me to do better against against the enemies, not being the thing that's hindering me from becoming better.
Yeah.
So yeah,
sounds like it sucks.
Yeah, I'm bummed out because I was
stop playing that.
Honestly, I gotta just delete it. I have this weird thing where I'm like trying to beat all the PlayStation exclusives, because it's like, why did I buy a PlayStation if I'm not going to play the exclusives? Because you might as well get them cheaper on Xbox, right?
I mean, I didn't play Order 1886.
Now that one was cool.
Or Knack or what?
Order 186 or 18. What was it? 1886 or 76?
1886.
1886 was cool. That game was similar to Knack it didn't really you didn't really evolve as a player in that game.
Yeah,
it's kind of stagnant.
No RPG elements.
But the story was so cool. Like, it was a really unique story. So I liked 1886, and it was short enough to not get frustrating. Whereas I'm looking at Knack, and it's like 10 to 15 hours.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I was like, oh cool. I'm like on the 4th mission, and each mission has like 5 missions within it, right? So it's like 4-1, 4-2, 4-3, 4. So I was like, okay, maybe there's 5, and I'm close to beating it. Nope, there's 13, and I'm on 4, and I was getting frustrated. So yeah. I wish. Yeah, I just don't have time. You're right. I should stop playing it, because I might as well play better exclusive. Like, I still haven't beaten Bloodborne, so I should probably just switch to that.
What the heck?
I know. Why am I playing Knack?
Yeah, that game's hard. You have to stick with that. You can't jump in and out of Bloodborne.
Yeah, I've been
That's
kind
a
of waiting
game.
for the PS5 because I want to.
Oh yeah,
because of the load times. Everyone said the load times sucked.
no, they
On
fixed them pretty
Did they?
quickly.
Okay,
Yeah.
but even still, they'll be faster on PS5. They'll
Oh
be
yeah,
almost instant. So
yeah, it will be
a
better.
game like that, you kind of need instant load time because I heard that you continually die in the same areas. So
Definitely.
yeah. So I don't know where you haven't played some of the top uh, PlayStation exclusives like Knack, or I mean, I guess Knack's not a top one, but uh,
I mean, I haven't played Knack, or I don't know. I played the main ones. I played Horizon, God of War, Spider-Man,
Bloodborne,
Bloodborne. Finished that.
Uncharted, Last of Us.
Yeah, Uncharted 4, Last of Us 2.
Yeah, I guess
I've played
because
all Death Stranding.
yeah, I have
Like
a
that's second party, but whatever.
Oh, I guess so. Yeah, I figured I'd towards the end. It's towards the end of the generation, right? So I've already played all the major ones. I figured I'd jump into some of the smaller ones, but I realized really quickly that yeah, that's why they're the smaller ones or the less liked ones because they weren't as good. I do want to jump into, or I want to continue. What was the game I mentioned on like the first or second episode?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm forgetting the name. It's a indie title, but it's PlayStation exclusive. It's with paint. You like paint all the walls and such. Anyways,
I don't
but
know.
yeah, I'm trying to. I'll probably stop with Knack and go on. But anyways, let's move on because I've talked way too much about Knack. You'll probably not hear about it again because I'm done.
Thank God.
Yes. Now you'll like this next one. I know this next one's kind of funny. Another one that I jumped into was Deus Ex: Mankind Divided.
Oh, have you played the first one?
No, because
Oh,
hold on, the first one was like in early 2000s.
yeah, it's a PS3 360 game. I don't think it's even on. I think it's on. It's on Xbox One, backwards compatible.
No, the first one. There's like
Oh yeah, I don't count
or
those. There's like the new reboots.
okay, like the 2011 one or
Yeah,
something. No, I
like you
have
can.
not played that.
Yeah, you could totally play Human Revolution
Okay,
and understand everything, and then Mankind Divided. Okay, but yeah, the game you're playing. How much have you played?
so that's the funny part is I only ended up playing like one or two missions.
Yeah,
Um,
the gameplay is great.
Gameplay is interesting to me. Like,
The stealth is so good in that game.
yeah,
It's
I ended up. I actually don't think I would. Maybe if I sat with it a little bit longer, I'd be more of a fan of this type of mechanic. But I noticed, at least in the first mission, every time I went to go attack someone, it turned into like a movie cutscene.
yeah, that's
Do
what
you
it
remember
does
that?
when you take people down. It does a little cutscene.
Yeah, I don't know if I was a fan of that because I felt like I went from like first person to third person and back to first person. It was kind of disorienting. I'm used to Splinter Cell or the faster stealth games where uh, you can move from enemy to enemy, like even a Dishonored 1 and 2. You just move from enemy to enemy like a really fluid motion,
Yeah.
and I felt like I couldn't quite do that with this game. It was a lot more.
Well, I mean, it feels like the old Splinter Cells. It feels very slow paced.
It's slower paced, yes,
The
but
early Splinter Cells weren't fluid and quick like the new ones are.
I had more agency, like player agency over Sam Fisher than I did with this guy.
Okay.
At least that's what I felt after only playing two missions. Maybe I would get more used to it. But the game is very much like old school stealth, which
Yeah.
I appreciated. First person stealth has never really been my thing. Dishonored was an exception. But like Thief, I didn't get into Thief or any other first person stealth game. So it's a little bit different and hard to get used to. But because with stealth, I like to see the character and his movements and see the area around him a little bit better.
Yeah, when I was talking to you off the air about another game I played this week, I forgot to mention was Star Wars Squadrons.
Ooh.
And you were talking about how you hate you. I was just talking to you about what the game is and how it's just mostly just a multiplayer Star Wars dogfighting game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all first person, and you were like, ooh, you were all down about it being first person only.
Yeah, because it's hard. It's definitely a different skill set when you're first person flight or first person stealth. First person shooter, I obviously like a lot better, but I feel like that's a little bit easier. But stealth and flight, there's just a different move set, right?
No, yeah. I mean, when I play a flying game, I always have it in third person, but
Yeah.
I'm already kind of used to it in first person anyway. So
So maybe right after this we can go into that for a couple seconds or a couple minutes, because I definitely want to hear more about that. But anyways, I jumped into that. The Deus Ex, there was on Mankind Divided. They were like, "Hey, do you want to catch up on the story?" I was like, "Sure." 12 and a half minutes later, it was like a whole mini movie that they make you watch. They didn't make it, but anyways, I watched it. I didn't know it was going to be that long, and it was interesting. It was like a kind of cyberpunky, right? Uh, Cybernetic enhancements to the human body, and
it is.
people were. I guess the whole like background of that story is, everyone was getting these cybernetic enhancements, but then there was a group of people that were like, "Hey, pure humans are the best," so like no cyber enhancements. And then there was a whole like I guess you wouldn't call it a race war, but I don't know what you would call it. But between cybernetics and humans, pure humans, and there was some like death switch that happened at some point. They called it like I don't know they had a name for it, but basically it was a certain day where they just like flipped a death switch, and everyone that had enhancements just went nuts and started like killing everyone around them.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the background of the story. It seemed really cool. I mean, I watched all 12 minutes, so the game seems really cool to jump into. But it's just for me right now, it's too much. Too intense. I'll come back to it when I have a little bit more time or more mental space for it.
Too intense. Put that quote on the box.
It's too intense right now, man. I got other things. I want my Mario 35.
That's what happens when you jump into like all these different games at once.
You're right. Yeah,
it's just like I can't handle a whole new gameplay style.
yeah. And so the next one, I'll go through this one really quick. Rime. Have you ever played Rime or heard of Rime?
Nope.
It's an indie game. Our good friend Evan actually reviewed it when he was at EGM. I remember reading his review and thinking, "Oh, that's cool." He's a games reviewer now, but I think he gave it good praise, I believe, if I recall.
Okay.
And it is a cool game. It's all about puzzles, and you just kind of wake up on this beach, on this random island, and you just have to complete different puzzles. I got through, there's like a giant area and you have to go do like 3 or 4 different things, and then it opens up the next area, right? And they seemed cool, and they got harder and harder as I went through. But so that's a cool game. I probably won't finish it,
Yeah.
But that's a cool one to jump into if you have it for free on Game Pass or something. It's a cool little.
Is it on Game Pass?
I think it was.
Oh, okay.
I think it was. I think they might have taken it off. But
what are you playing it on?
I'm playing it on PlayStation because I got it for free. When did I get it? I got it for free on PS Plus, I believe.
Oh, okay. Maybe I have it then. I don't know.
You might have it. Yeah, it's a cool little indie game. Cool art style. Kind of a Breath of the Wild-ish art style. Before Breath of the Wild, I believe, or around that same time.
Oh, okay.
But okay. So besides those 3 games and then Mario 35, I've been playing a ton of Rogue Company. Have you heard of this game?
No.
Rogue Company. Now, this is the game that I put maybe 5 to 10 hours into this week. This game is similar to, it's a free-to-play game right now, right? It's free to play, but it's one of those, like, it's kind of like Rainbow Six Siege, where there's multiple characters that each have their own weapon set and skill set that you can unlock. And if you unlock them, you can play them. But it gives you like 4 or 5 to start on the free version. And the way this game is, it's a really simple hook. It's basically Counter-Strike mixed with Fortnite.
Sounds like what's it called? What's that PC game everybody's playing?
Yeah,
Valorant.
yeah, Valorant. So I think it might. I mean, it came out around the same time. I think it's been around a while on PC, but they just did a console launch for free. So maybe my brothers played this, or anyone else out there who has played it on PC, you might know a little bit more. But I played 5 to 10 hours. Basically, the Counter Strike element of it is it's round based, and you earn cash throughout the game, and you between each round you go back up to this like little hovercraft thing that's hovering above the level, and you can buy weapons, and buy upgrades to your abilities. You could buy grenades, so the further along the match gets, the better you become, right?
Yeah.
And I get in turn everyone else is becoming better as well. So you have to be smart on when and how you spend your money. So that's the kind of the Counter-Strike part of it. It is third person, and it kind of looks more like Fortnite.
Your favorite?
No, I'm a first. That's the thing. That's the thing. For competitive shooters, I'm a first person guy, but for stealth action game, I'm a third person. So
yeah, I see.
But it is third person, but it's the most. Honestly, it's the most competitive third person, besides actually probably even more than Gears of War. It's competitive first or third person shooter out there. Gears of War. Anyways, it's like Fortnite aesthetics.
Okay.
Kind of cartoony looking characters, not as dramatic, more based in realism, but still have that kind of funny, kind of cartoonish look. Each character is very unique and different, though, which I love. Just a ton of representation, and a ton of just like big personality characters. Even more so than Siege. Siege, some of the characters can be the same, right? They don't really have personalities as much. They gave these characters a lot more personality. The Fortnite aspect of it, which I thought was hilarious, because it's not much like Fortnite besides the third person kind of cartoonish look, and then there's a dance. Like you have your little dance. I guess every game has that now, right? But
yeah.
you do a dance, but it does the Fortnite thing where it starts bumping some tunes right behind your dance, right? Like you hit the dance button and you start dancing to some beat,
Yeah.
Similar to Fortnite. So there's that. But then also the other Fortnite thing is both teams are hovering above the map on either side of the map. And when it's like 3, 2, 1, and then it opens up the gate to the hovercraft, and you jump out of the hovercraft and you fly down Fortnite style, like with wings and such, into the map. But it's a lot quicker than a Fortnite drop. So, so it's like a quick, maybe 4 or 5 seconds, and you hit the ground. But it's a small map, right? So you can't quite get to the other side of the map or anything, right? It's more of you start up in the air, and you could kind of choose left, middle, or right. I think most maps kind of look like that. Like you could kind of choose which area you want to go into first. But it's it's objective based, competitive third person shooter. So I had a ton of fun with it. Honestly, probably multiplayer game of the year as of now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Besides, I don't know what else has come out this year.
Mario 35, I guess, for multiplayer, but I'm talking more like traditional multiplayer, Yeah. But the hook of it is each character has a cool move set. Like this one girl can throw a knife that you can kind of set. You can throw a knife against a wall, and then it's proximity based and it explodes. So I usually I would throw it against the wall next to the objective, and then someone would try to like disarm the bomb or something, and they'd blow up and stuff. So there's cool moves like that. There's other people have like giant barriers they put up, or one character puts barbed wire on the ground, kind of like Siege, but it's in a bigger area, and it does like electric damage to the people, so it slows them down. So there's cool futuristic stuff like that. Each character has a hook to them, and each character has their own weapon set. You can't change it out, which I actually like. I love this because it's like the old days, pick a gun and go. Uh, you pick a character and just that's your character. You're not gonna like the only customization is each weapon and ability that he has specifically. You can choose to upgrade, throughout the match to however you want. So each character has two primary weapons. So if you like more of a DMR or if you like a automatic rifle, you can choose based off of that. That's as much choice as you get, though. You're not picking your own AR-15 or something. You're not picking and customizing it or anything. So
that's also on PS4.
This is on PS4. This is on Switch. This is on Xbox. This is on, I'm pretty sure, PC. So it's cross play and cross save.
Oh, cool.
Now I might have to look that up after the show, but I'm pretty sure cross play. I know for sure cross save.
Yeah, there's a lot of cross play games now. It's nice.
Yeah, I'm liking the way the industry is going with that. But anyways, this dude, you should jump into this game with me. It is the hook of Siege without the commitment of getting good at it. Does that make sense? Like Siege, I felt like there was a huge, even like learning curve for beginners, right?
Yeah.
You're just going to get wrecked right in the beginning. But because it has the Counter-Strike system where everyone starts with a pistol and then you kind of buy and upgrade weapons from that, it's a lot more even in that way. And each match feels like a whole separate thing. Like I never did the same thing twice. Yeah, it's just a fun game. Definitely check that out. It's for free. You can get it for free on whatever system you're playing on. So check it out.
Free to play.
Free to play. Yep. Check it out. It has dances and emotes and different skins that you can purchase or earn in game. So there's cool things about it. But it was funny because I was like, oh man, I should jump into Bloodborne or something more serious. And then this game just randomly dropped last weekend, and I downloaded it, and I just haven't stopped playing. So it's got me.
Yeah,
it's a fun one. There's probably a lot more to it that I'm missing, but I think I've got a good gist of what I played, 5 to 10 hours. So
sounds fun. Yeah, you played that a lot for a multiplayer game.
Yeah.
Compared to the other games you played.
Yeah.
Did you play anything else?
That was it. I mostly played Mario 35, and Rogue Company. The other three games I jumped into, like Knack and Rhyme and Deus Ex, were just maybe an hour each at the most. So.
Yeah, just to touch on briefly, Star Wars Squadrons is fun. There was a news story that came out today, actually, in between me recording the first half and this half. There was a news story that came out that said that they're not going to be adding any post-launch content to the game.
What?
I know, that kind of bummed me out. But, I mean, there is a decent amount in there. And as it goes on sale and as it gets cheaper, it'll be worth it. But, I mean, as it is, it's fun, and I think it's good. I don't know if it's worth $40, especially with the there's nothing else coming to it. I was kind of hoping they had new ship types.
You don't think what's there is worth $40, or
I think it is.
Think maybe for some people it is if you really like that style of game.
Yeah, for some people it wouldn't be. It's very flight simmy. It's not like arcadey at all.
So it's a difficult, steep learning curve.
I don't know, steep. It's just not. You're not going to pick it up right. Like every time I play it, I'm like, oh, God, I have to relearn how to play it every time. It's because it's not, it's not like playing Battlefront. It's not, you don't just jump in a ship and just fly it around. The left stick controls the throttle, and then the right stick controls, like if you had a flight stick on the right stick. And then there's all the different, the two game types. There's just the dogfight game type, and there's a fleet battle game type. So there's only two modes. There's
that surprises me.
There's two modes. You think they'd add more modes, but I don't know. They said they're not adding anything, so we'll see. Maybe people complain enough and they will add something, but The two modes there are fun. The fleet battle mode's fun. You're like shooting down. You're trying to take turns destroying each other's little fleets of ships. Hard to describe. It's fun. People should watch
you said
gameplay of it or just check it out.
There's 4 different ships. I'm assuming those are like classes.
Yeah, there's the regular like X-wing and TIE fighter class, and then there's the A-wing and TIE interceptor. Those are both their own class, and then the Y-wing and TIE bomber are in their own little bomber class. And then there's 2 ships in the support class. I can't remember what the Imperial ship was called, but then the Rebel ship is called a U-wing. It's not really in the movies. Yeah, you can send like health and supplies to your friendlies.
Huh. Can you heal your big ship or whatever it's called, the whatever base you're defending?
The base ship, no, you can't heal that.
Okay.
But yeah, it's designed as a VR game, so like I said earlier, it's first person only. It was made as a VR game, and you can tell when you play it, especially the moments in the story where there's story beats happening. You're talking to people. You don't walk around the ship. You look around and then click on stuff. So it's very obviously a VR game, but it's very fun. Highly recommend it, especially if you have a PSVR, you can play it. You can play it on VR. So
that's awesome.
It's on PC, obviously, for all the supported VR things. Maybe it's on that Oculus Quest 2 thing we were talking about a couple weeks ago, but it's cool. It's fun.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's the Star Wars license, and it's made by EA, published by EA, right?
Published by EA. I forget who developed it. It was made by like a team at DICE or something.
I'm sure they have all the assets, the good high quality Star Wars assets like a Star Wars Battlefront had, right? As far as the sound quality, level design, or ship design, and all that, right?
I could totally see them taking this
music
and putting it.
There's got to be Star Wars music, right?
Yeah, there's Star Wars music in it. Okay. I could totally see them just taking this mode and putting it in Battlefront 3.
Ooh.
Just because it's such a solid flight, space battles and everything. I could totally see them just putting it in there. That would be really cool.
Battlefront 3. I didn't even think about Battlefront 3 existing. But...
I mean, it's probably existing. I have to imagine it's probably in development.
Yeah. Because the Battlefront 2, a lot of people didn't play. I played a ton of, though. I actually really liked it, especially after they fixed everything. But they had a really solid flight, mode in those games. So the second, so the first one, I can't remember. I don't think first one had flight space battles, but the second one I remember, you could either do just flight mode where you're 8v8 and you just have to wipe out the other enemy team or defend a ship. But there was also the mixed battles, which I thought were really cool, where you start out in space and you're defending something, and then if the enemy breaks through that line, then you have to all board the ship because the enemy's boarding the ship, and you have to retreat back onto the ship and defend it back in first person or third person or whatever, like on the ground, right? So they had like multiple stages. That was a really cool mode, but I could see that if they just add this into Battlefront 3, as a selling point, like, hey, so David from California, actually, he actually really loves Star Wars, and I remember he always loved all the Star Wars games when we were kids growing up. I've seen him on PlayStation 4 playing Star Wars Squadrons as well. So I wonder if he has anything to say about that. Maybe David can text me or write in next week about if he has any more input on it. Because I'm eventually going to buy the game. I might wait a little bit. I kind of hoping it's coming to EA Play. By the time EA Play comes out.
It probably would. Maybe in like 3 months or whatever.
Yeah, which could be December or January, right?
Yeah.
So that'd be cool. So, anyways, David writes in to ADA Gaming Pod just like you can, and says, "So Josh brought up XCOM 2 and said it isn't for him. I couldn't really get into it either. However, I do highly recommend checking out Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle on the Switch if you haven't already. It's another turn-based tactical combat game, but it has that Nintendo magic, and it is so much fun. In fact, here's an article from the creative director for XCOM on his feelings about this game. I'll put a quote from it, but I recommend reading the article. It's not very long anyway. Quote from the article. It says, playing Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, I had many moments where I laughed out loud or felt a twinge of jealousy at a particularly clever mechanic, or felt that most coveted gaming moment, the exhilaration of a worthy challenge finally overcome. All of this happened in a game in a genre I supposedly know as intimately as anyone can. End quote. So, yeah, I never actually played Mario plus Rabbids. I saw a lot of gameplay of it, and it does look more fun than, honestly, XCOM. XCOM's a cool game, and it's very serious and kind of intense with the story and everything. But Mario plus Rabbids looks a lot more funny and light and whimsical.
It is
probably more up my alley at this point in time, you know. Um, so I put it on my wish list for my Switch. So hopefully
that game gets hard.
Does it?
Fun,
okay, so you've played it.
Yeah, I played it. Yeah, Mario Rabbids. I love the XCOM games, and I love Mario Rabbids. I didn't even finish Mario Rabbids. I got to the second to last level, I think it was.
Oh wow.
I kept wanting to go back. I could beat it. I just never went back to it. Never stuck with it. But yeah, that game gets hard. I don't know if it's as hard as the XCOM games, but it's fun. It's the same exact game, like the cover system.
Really?
Yeah, it's just got
like move type, like the move.
Yeah, except you pick like the Mario characters or Rabbid characters, and they each have their own special moves and weapons and unique things, as opposed to like a soldier class or a medic class that it has in XCOM.
Is it Mario?
Theme
is it Mario versus Rabbids, or what are you? Are you playing?
No, Mario and Rabbids are working together.
Oh, okay. But against who?
I don't remember. It's been so long.
I'm guessing some minions of
yeah. The Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thanks for writing in, David. Yeah, it seems fun, and it seems more up my alley, and it probably more accessible from what I've seen online. But
yeah.
So yeah, that's it for listener questions or comments.
Wow. No ATV Off-Road Fury or MX Unleashed chat.
We almost went a whole episode without even mentioning it, but I guess
I don't know if we might not have mentioned it last week. I can't remember. The episodes are starting to blur together in my mind.
Yeah, we might have made a quick joke about it.
Maybe. I probably did.
Or in the listener mail or something. Oh, we didn't have any last week, huh?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so maybe we did skip an episode. Oh, man.
Yeah, everybody should write in.
Wait, I did see... what was it? I was on... I think it's on PS Now. I was kind of looking through PS Now. It might be on Game Pass as well. But I did see the new ATV off-road, game that they have out. I don't know. And it was on there, and I was like, oh, man, I'm probably going to be a sucker and get this. So... yeah. Anyways, you guys,
it's a new one, or is it one of the old ones?
It looks like one of the newer ones because I didn't recognize the cover art or anything about the name. So
okay,
it's on PS Now, which is kind of the Game Pass of PlayStation, which is it's a far less superior version of it.
Anyway.
Also, for people like David or anyone that loves these kind of sim flight games, we know Microsoft Flight Simulator is coming out for Game Pass soon, or is already out. I can't quite remember.
Is that coming to Xbox?
It's coming to Xbox, yeah. And they're saying, I think they're saying day one with Xbox Series X.
Oh, okay.
So that's a flight sim you can look out for. And I've heard really good things about it. Like everything's like you just fly around anywhere in the world, and it has. I think it uses like Google Maps or something. So you can.
I tried downloading it on my computer, and I couldn't get it to work. It was really glitchy.
Really? Okay.
But yeah, other people. It might be better now. They might have patched it.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to go back to it at some point.
So that's a more intense one, but something more up like Star Wars Squadrons, similar to Star Wars Squadrons. I noticed Rebel Galaxy Outlaw came out. So for, especially for David, if you liked Squadrons, check out Rebel Galaxy Outlaw. The first game, Rebel Galaxy, was not the same. It was kind of more of you're kind of a giant ship that you have to move around space, and it's all on a flat plane, almost like the ocean, but they just put it in space. But this new one, Rebel Galaxy Outlaw, looks a lot more like Squadrons, in the first-person space sim shooter. So that one looks really cool too. I want to jump into that as well. It's got a 78 on Metacritic. Uh, so good, good, not horrible, but not excellent,
Yeah.
But if you like those games, you like those games. This one looks fun. So, yeah, if you guys want, we kind of don't really do this that often, but feel free to write us at our email address at adagamingpod@gmail.com, or you could follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ADA Gaming Pod, or A Discourse About Gaming. You could probably type that in and find us. On YouTube as well, A Discourse About Gaming. You can listen to the episodes. Eventually on YouTube, I want to push for some Let's Plays. So we might have some of that content going up. But yeah, that's where you can find us.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. Hopefully this episode wasn't too weird.
Being split. I don't even know what happened in the first 30 minutes. So
I know. See. It could be me just, going insane, having a meltdown.
Yeah, I'm excited. To check it out.
It's just me screeching into the microphone for 30 minutes.
I apologize in advance, and I don't know this man.
Come back next week where it'll be just Josh and I fired.
Fired from this project that we don't even get paid for.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, thanks for joining us, guys. This has been A Discourse About Gaming.
Farewell, everybody.
Bye.